you've hit the jackpot as long as you can replicate this into business and you realize the complexity of a lot of different things. You start valuing your time a little differently and you go, is this the best use of my time right here, right now, cleaning equipment? Is this the best thing that I can be doing for my business? Or can I be doing something else to help grow it or make the members happier or bring in more customers?
Automate what can be automated, delegate what can be delegated, and streamline anything you have to do. That's what I'm following now. And doing that by hiring my first manager, that was the ultimate game changer for me. So I could step out and be like a true CEO.
Tom Lebarre. So, first of all, I think of these things about the way people operate their gyms. And I remember years ago having this idea of being able to operate a fitness facility, kind of do your passion project, your hobby that you turn into a real business, it be something that's remote. You're running a gym 100% remote. And really, most people wouldn't even think that that's possible. So for you, what was it that clicked that made you think that this was a doable thing?
I wasn't sure it was doable. But when you're in the first 2 years of business, I think every owner operator hits that wall where you are overloaded with things to do. And there's just not enough time in a day or enough energy to do them. And I started trying to, I don't want to call it like a get out of jail plan, but it basically was my jailbreak plan on like, how am I going to dig myself out of this hole that I've got myself into, and still make money. And that's, what started getting me thinking, like, how can I do things differently than my predecessors, but still make money and, still follow the successful trends that will work, in any gym. So selling gym memberships, that's not going to go away, right? Personal training is not going to go away. People need cardio equipment. People need weight training equipment. So those are like the big building blocks, but what can I do slightly different? And one of the things that inspired me was I went to a storage facility. I can't remember the name of the company. But the whole process of signing up was through their app. And then I showed up to the facility, punched in my code, went to my unit. My lock was there. The whole thing was streamlined and automated and my mind was blown. And I started thinking, if a storage unit can do this, a gym can do this. Because I mean, you think with all the equipment and how much money is probably sitting in that building, millions of dollars, whereas I've got a gym with a couple $100,000 of equipment. The liability is far less severe than what they're dealing with. So that was like my first aha.
So how do you manage this with, with the idea that there's competition out there, right? They're running marketing campaigns nonstop.
Yeah.
They might be placing their facility, and this is a question for you, they might be placing their facility in an area that has a lot higher traffic. So how did you come to this realization and go, okay, if I'm going to be 100% remote, what are the variables, or I should say fixed, right? Because they're not variables. They're the fixed items or fixed cost within your business that you said, it's got to be under this, it's got to be under this amount, it's got to be under this amount. So that way you can afford to actually pay for the operations and know that you got enough cushion there. So you know that these members are actually going to join.
Yeah. What we did was we started out with our original price point was, well, first off, the first year it was negotiable. Client would come in, we'd let them know our prices were $42 a month, 30-day cancellation. And they knew we were brand new in business and they knew there was wiggle room, and there was. So we had, people paying anywhere from $20 to $50 a month. And that was our price point. After about 2 years of that, I was looking at the numbers, and exactly to your point, the numbers were not adding up. We were not making enough money. We were making enough to, pay myself, pay the bills, and have a little bit extra to maybe renovate here and there and fix up equipment. but it wasn't enough to scale and bring on like a cleaning service and other help that is really useful when you're looking at really truly scaling or taking a step back. So I redid the numbers and I looked at, okay, where are we kind of like, what can this facility really reasonably handle without it becoming more work than it's worth? And I came up with the number about 400 clients is our sweet spot, anywhere from 320 to 400. It's enough profit, and without there being too many clients, if that makes sense. Because once you get over a certain amount of clients for your facility, you're going to break into a new level of expenses. You're going to be using up more cleaning expenses. You're going to have more down equipment. And there's other costs that just seem to come out of nowhere, like just more wear and tear in the bathrooms and just, less parking space. People are a little bit more disgruntled, because it is going to be more packed. So I found that the sweet spot was that membership range. So then I determined, okay, how much money do I want to make profit? And that's where I came to $55, per client a month. And then recently, we rolled out almost like a family plan where you get 2 memberships for the price of one, and that's $89. That's something we don't push it. We definitely don't encourage it. But it's available for those that are, really they come to us asking for it. We're not highlighting it and we're not pressing it.
How far is your closest competitor?
Yeah. So our closest competitor is on the same road as us. And he's probably maybe less than 2 miles from us. Tampa's weird. 2 miles sounds really close, but it's almost a different neighborhood, like almost a different ecosystem within Tampa. So there's in the city, there's Ybor, there's South Tampa, there's Channelside, then there's North Tampa. But within each, let's call it a borough, within each one of those boroughs, there's subsections, and it's not because some city planners just draw out the lines. It's because traffic is so bad. It's just people just kind of stay in their bubble, to avoid what used to be maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes of driving is now 30 minutes of driving. So the congestion is kind of insulated these bubbles all throughout these boroughs.
So would you say that you're lucky in the fact that you have kind of like you found a section within the area where consumers don't want to drive further, or that you intentionally found that? Or would you say that regardless of competition, people are willing to pay that price because they don't belong to that following or consumer base that might go to that $15 or $10 model or $20 model? They don't want that big box club. They don't want that big box feel. Mm-hmm. They would rather have this 24/7 access. Like what is it that you feel drives your customer to you?
Yeah. So, I think it's a little bit of everything you just said. I think you hit that right on the head there. There's one pool of people that are only come to us because we're their neighborhood gym. They can literally drive a golf cart, park it around back and go in. Their kids all get memberships because we have the local high school there. I did do research, on that location and did pick it based off of knowing that there was a really good population there and we were going to be in a neighborhood. But it was my first business, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be, some genius business expert when it was really a little bit of research and a whole lot of luck.
What would you say your margins are?
On my profit margins? Mm-hmm. We pull in probably, I don't know. I'll just say it. We make about anywhere from 18,000 to 21,000 a month. You see the statements, and we spend about 8 to 10,000 a month.
Okay.
It depends on like if we're buying new equipment, and that's after I've paid, 1099 contractors and everything. So I run it really lean because we don't need to advertise anymore. Most of our fixed cost, we don't have any debt. And we've gotten to the point now where, we're in a really good position with rent.
I I ask that because those listening to this, they might be in a position where they're questioning some of the things I just mentioned, right? The market stability, the saturation of the market, the customer base that might join them versus the other place, their location, their rent cost, the price that they're competing with, right? Sometimes you think about,
not to cut you off, but I will say that the price point there, and I know this in myself. If I want something, I already have there's a lot of customers that already have a price they're willing to pay, and they're not looking for a particular product. They're looking for a particular product within a price range. So you're going to get people that are looking for your gym based off the price you select off that alone. And I think that's probably at least 40 or 50% of our clientele are selecting us because they know they're paying more. Less people are going to go there, and they don't want to pay too much, like in the 100 and above, because maybe they're not that serious. And that's like a whole different league to them. So I say we get pretty, regular gym goers that are at least motivated enough to come on a regular basis and don't want to deal with, like a discount gym, a $10 or $15 gym. And they're looking specifically for someone that's charging $50 a month or $60 a month. They're looking for that price.
Interesting. What's your daily activity look like? Like for you personally, like what's your routine look like? Your day routine look like, and as a remote gym owner, and what routines or rituals do you do on a daily basis to kind of like keep you grounded and grow in your business?
So the first thing I do, I wake up pretty early. I get up, now I don't need an alarm because I've been doing it for so long, but I get up around 4 or 4:30 in the morning, which sounds crazy, I know, but, now it's just become a really nice, quiet and peaceful time that I can sit and just reflect on any fires I have to fight, or reflect on things that I've just recently gone through, maybe seeing how I can improve on my processes. And then I check on emails, which really I don't have that much going on now. I'm starting a back office, which actually that's why, I couldn't do the call tomorrow, because we're setting that up, and I'm going to be handing over the little bit of work that I have and actually some of what the manager is doing right now. We're going to be handing it off to this back office. And that's part of a bigger picture where I'm over engineering this one location so that when a second location comes on board, or maybe a gym owner, that wants to do what I'm doing, but maybe doesn't want to do all the, groundwork, we'll be able to partner together,
leverage what you built.
Yeah, exactly. For, either some sort of, cost split, or, in the early partners would be cost split. And then as we scale, we'd be able to make profits and stuff like that. That's a little fuzzy, but I really, outside of that, I'm not really doing much in the gym. I like to pick up the phone when I'm available and answer calls, and I like to answer texts, and I like to stop in the gym, once every couple months just to say hi to, old faces that are still around. But I'm blessed to say I haven't been in the business, coming up on 2 years.
Wow.
And actually I haven't been in the business since, I've been your customer, and that's actually thanks to you, to BizOps. I've built a whole ecosystem around, your, software. And I hope to scale it, and eventually, the goal is to scale to more locations, and it's doable because of BizOps for sure.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the systems, right? Cause I think about you setting up this business, you being totally remote. I remember we were talking previously, when you first onboarded with BizOps, one of the things was, you were a flight away, right? Not even really driving distance.
Yeah.
And, you were working in the military, and that took a lot of your time. And so you were just kind of doing check-ins with your business, seeing how things were going. So first question is, how long did it take you to go from you getting this facility? If I recall, you don't own the building, right?
No.
Leasing the space and then getting started to the point where now you're actually making money. How long did that process take alone?
Okay. So the to break even, it took 1 year. But the first 6 months of the business, I actually invested. The gym was or not, I had an original partner, and the reason why we opened a gym was this was his passion. And I was a guy that just had a couple dollars that wanted to get into business, because I see all these people starting small business. Mm-hmm. And, once they get through the first couple of years, they're doing really well for themselves. I saw that and I wanted to dive into something. I love fitness. I love sports. I love doing all that stuff, but the gym itself wasn't really necessarily a calling, but my partner at the time, was interested, and I was, every guy wants one of two things. They want a bar or a gym. So it wasn't really a hard sell to get me to want to do a gym. Unfortunately, it's not always a good idea to go into business with friends, especially unqualified friends. So after he ran the business to the ground, so far into the negative and so bad, and, doing things, just not doing business the right way, not just, financially or like intelligently, but also morally. I stepped in and took over the business. And from that point, which was 6 months in to our first year, I went from a business that wasn't going to last another week to breaking even. And for me, that was that was probably like the biggest win, in business I've had, was that recovery.
What was the change?
Yeah.
During that time?
I came in, I was present, at the time. We weren't virtual. We had an office in the back of the gym. That's now more, gym space. I was there every day. I made sure I didn't clean when no one was in the gym. I cleaned when people were in the gym, to let them know, hey, I am the caretaker of the facility. I was there to greet people. Some people don't want to be talked to. They get a fist bump and they go do their workout. Other people really do like a 5-10 minute conversation. So just being present, hearing out what people want, which can be taxing. So I would say limit how much, recommendations you intake. But a lot of them were there, some of them are really good, and we made those, changes, and the members kind of felt like they had a voice and they take ownership of it. And we still have that pride in our membership today. Like I said, we're small, less than 400 members, and we keep it that way. But the people that are in there take care of it. You're not sneaking into the gym and getting away with it.
They're paying. They're paying kind of that mid-tier price. They don't want it being ruined. It's one of the reasons why they joined at that mid-tier price.
So just being involved. Yeah.
What's the biggest misconception you think that people have about being able to run a gym remotely?
I think the biggest fear is I don't know what to call it. It's called tailgating. But tailgating is essentially when someone follows another person in, and they haven't checked in through our system. And that does happen. But I would say more than 9 times out of 10, it's almost never happens. Is it someone that is not affiliated with the member? And even the 2 out of 10 times that it is a person that was not supposed to be in the gym, the member that brought their friend, they didn't know the process. It's on our website, but who reads? No one reads. It's not a big deal. So we have a detection system that lets us know, and we have an outreach SOP that we follow. When it's the first time, it's a friendly, hey, I introduce myself or whoever, and it's a copy and paste thing. And we send them the video of them walking in with their friend. And it's always, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I didn't know the process. And what we do is, hey, no big deal. We're going to charge you the $5. By the way, if you review us on Google, you get 3 free guest passes. And they say, oh, great. And they almost always do the Google review. And it's always a 5-star. And then another thing we do is, maybe they're not interested in doing a review, or they are, we also offer them a free t-shirt. Oh, so now we have them advertising for us, wearing our merchandise, and, they know they've put a name to, the management and the caretakers of the facility. And we potentially have gotten a review. And honestly, when you ask someone to do something and they do it, they feel like a sense of ownership, to the business. And that really breeds the environment that we've been nurturing which is really cool.
So I want to talk about some of the tech that you're using. So what's the tech stack or tools that made you, like, as you're kind of building this thing out and you're trying to make this thing remote, where you're like, this changes everything? What is that?
Yeah. So do you want me to go in like chronological of when we implemented, or how I think it all fits together?
Yeah, just from the point when you were like, this makes total sense, and now this will be totally remote.
Yeah. So once I discovered that the remote entry system at that storage company, that's what opened my eyes on trying to find basically technology that are already doing this for gyms. And at the time, I was with ABC Fitness, and they were partnering with OpenPath. I don't think they support OpenPath anymore. They're doing their own internal thing, which, good for them, I guess. But yeah, I think that's kind of dumb. Anyways, the OpenPath was like the first, like probably most important thing. Like, you have to be able to, it has to be digital. It has to be to the phone. Everyone has their phone. So if you've got to mail out like a key fob or a key, or you have to meet them in person, that's so much it's bandwidth from the time that they want access to a gym to the time they're actually getting their first workout. The time that's too long. And the second, it's your own bandwidth. You're now pulled away from things you could be doing to scale the company or enjoy time with your family, to do something so mundane as giving someone a key. And I'm not saying there's not value in that. Like in person, if that's your model, then you can use that as an opportunity to introduce, upsales, which I'm not discrediting that method. It's just not a fit for what we do. So I would say the first thing it was for us was OpenPath. And the next thing was, when they sign up, automating the email access, which is something that ABC does not do. And for as bit large of a company as they are, I really couldn't understand why they would not take the time to build out that infrastructure, which led me to reach out to a bunch of companies. And I had a fortuitous call from one of your employees, and we set up a call, and off the first phone call, we ended up signing up with you guys simply because you answered that key piece of, yeah, we can automate that email. And that was the biggest, I mean, from getting to break even, that's our second biggest accomplishment, was automating the membership.
So do you see yourself owning, I mean, we've talked about it personally, but where are you at with owning 3, 5, 10 locations? I think you said last time we talked, you wanted, was it 10? You wanted 10 location?
Yeah, I think 8 to 11 total. So including mine, I would 10 others. I think that's kind of a sweet spot where I'd be looking at, where it's the same model, my same model of, it's big, but not too big to where you are kind of managing a different animal. I'm looking to just build out an ecosystem that can maintain one gym. And my theory is it's 10. It could be less. We could hit 3 or 4, and it's like, nope, this is the max we can handle. And if that's the case, I'm totally fine with that. But you have to set targets and goals and go to it. And as you are going through the, sub goals, to those targets, you can make adjustments, just like any plan. But, yeah, the goal is to scale, and for me, it's not about ownership. I'm okay with also being, my goal now is really more managing them and doing what I do for my gym for multiple gyms. And the reason why managing one gym virtual, it's mostly dead space. You ask me like what I do with my daily routine for the business. I might have 4 hours in a month. Maybe on a month like this, I've got more than 4 hours because I'm starting up a back office. But I'm not doing really anything Monday through Friday. I'm doing a little bit on the weekends because I'm more free. But come next month, I'm going to have maybe 1 hour in the business where I touch base with our accountant. I'll check in on reports that I get and automatically emailed to me from BizOps. And then I have a weekly touch base with the management. And the manager that's at my facility. And that's it. And an hour is like being like, it might be an exaggeration. It's probably less than 45 minutes because we have all these reports that are streamlined and I can glance at it. I make them, in the military, we call them glance reports. Mm-hmm. It's something I can look at this and within less than 1 minute, I'm up to date on the situation. If it's something that catches my attention and I want more information, then we go in and have a conversation. But most weeks and most months don't require more than a glance report because most months look the same.
So do you have, I mean, you said manager, but do you have people on the ground? Like what does the whole operation look like? Because this sounds like a pretty, for any investor, anybody who's looking to invest, and not necessarily meaning like an investor that's, private equity. I'm talking about a business or entrepreneurial mind that's going, want to put money into something that I know that I can get return on. And that return on investment is going to be greater than what I'm going to get in the market.
Yeah.
And I don't have to do a whole lot of work, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons why people invest in markets is because they know they can go into S&P 500. They can put it into certain index funds. They know that they're going to get anywhere from 5 to 12% return every year, year over year for the past 120 years, right? They know it's a safe bet. Right. This sounds like a pretty safe bet, but what are the other variables that come along with it, right? You have other people that maybe you have to manage, or are you outsourcing some of those things? So that way you are able to just kind of like hands off, and it's 4 hours a month. Yeah. And you know that you have this recurring revenue model where money's coming in. You have people probably leave, right? Which is probably in that 3 to 5% range every month. And I do want to ask that question to get that number on it. But what is it that you have on the ground that's giving you that sense of comfort to know that, one, that variable is there, and if that variable leaves, you maybe you got to replace that, or if that variable doesn't leave and is asking for more earnings, like how do you handle that? Because that's another big component. I'm sure people want to hear it.
So the first manager we had, he stayed with us for about 1 year and then had a great opportunity to go to, a big gym, up in the DMV area. I wrote him a letter of recommendation. I was really happy for him, but I'm also thinking to myself, I've got less than 30 days now to fill the shoes. And he did a really good job. He took a lot off my plate, especially in the first year of this experimental project we did. He knocked it out of the park and scaled it to a position to where we were able to add features in and take even more, work off of my plate on the virtual side. So with that whole basically becoming imminent, my immediate thought was, I don't need an employee. I need a partner, like a business partner. And I need to find someone who's passionate and wants to be in the gym. Like not someone that has to be in the gym to make money. I want someone that wants to be in the gym because it's their actual passion. It's their goal. They want to be a personal trainer or a gym owner, and that is their end goal. So I was able to interview, a couple people, and I come across Ben, who is now the, manager over at the Forge for me. And we are working on a deal right now to get him to buy in, to the company. What I'm doing is to make the deal because I need him just like he needs me. Like he's not going to go start his own gym from scratch. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of money. Whereas I need him because I want to continue taking steps back so that I can, once I'm far enough away, I have enough field of view to look at gym number 2, gym number 3, and so on. So it's a symbiotic relationship. And because of that, I'm offering him at 0% interest. And then they're really flexible payment terms. And I'm allowing him to purchase as much of the business that he wants, up to a certain amount. Like obviously I have to stay in, with skin in the game, or it won't make sense. But, we came to an agreement, and just having really tough conversations up front and honest conversations up front of what I need, what I want to do, and what I hope to be able to do for him and what he needs, his bottom line, what he needs, what he expects, what he hopes to do in the future, and what he's willing to do for me as well. So that those honest conversations have happened. And now it's just come time he's going on a vacation, later this month to Europe. So, or actually next month to Europe. And so when he gets back, we're going to finalize that, which is really cool.
Nice.
So having a bin that is the passion, the lifeblood of the company is super important. But even once he's fully locked in and he is a part owner, the expectation of him being in person is not going to be there.
So what's the churn rate? Right. So I want that question answered.
We are high. We are super high. You're going to be shocked. We're at like probably 18%.
And how do you replenish that? Right. Cause most would think that if you have that high of attrition, that it's going to be hard to fill that gap and you're not going to be maintaining that revenue number.
Right.
So what is it that's maintaining that? Cause I don't know if are you doing a lot of marketing or advertising?
No marketing. At first we were marketing. We did strategic marketing, for certain areas. So we're not too far from the Tampa airport, and a lot of the hotels that people stay at we're the best option. Even no matter where you are in Tampa for 24-hour, we're the only gym where you can sign up at 2 a.m. and get into the gym at 2 a.m. We're still the only ones that are doing that. So we get a lot of day pass, week pass, month passes. We have guys that are coming to Tampa 6 times a year and they come to us every time. It's like clockwork. So we get a lot of those. We get a lot of college students, and high school students, and and them and their parents, they're on a cycle as well. They only use it during the summer or they only use it during the school year. So we have a lot of turnover, but those people that are turning over are almost always repeat customers if they come back to Tampa. And a lot of them are always, they're just in a cycle of, I don't know if maybe they're snowbirds or they're here for work. I haven't done that much research, but we do have a super high turnover. And my strategy when we were, initially doing a lot of advertising, we targeted the TPA, Tampa International Airport. We specifically targeted that. And what I did was I priced our day passes to be the lowest rate day pass, in all of Tampa. So the reason why I did that was to encourage more site traffic and more utilization of our website to boost us on Google. And, we are still profiting from that on an SEO perspective. And we haven't run ads and it's almost been almost 2 years. It's been like a year and a half since we've run ads.
Wow.
We're going to start again though. We are going to start again. Now that we have the back office, I want to start doing some cool stuff for our personal trainers, because the more clients that they have, it's not that we necessarily need more clients, but we have more clients that have a person, almost like a representative. So they're going to stick around longer. They're going to be more active on social media and stuff like that. So we're not that we want to be a personal training gym only, but those kind of clients are really valuable clients as well.
Yeah. You know my opinion on personal training. So
yeah.
I know it's a huge value.
It's super value. And I can see us hiring personal trainers, as right now we only have independent trainers, but I can see us doing employees as well.
Yeah. Bringing it in house
in the future. Yeah.
Awesome, man. I think the information that you provided is tremendously valuable. I think going from a position where you're trying to operate in location and then going, all right, well, we're making this thing 100% remote, puts you in a real strong position to be able to open more locations because you have time back on your side to go focus on more opportunities. Right. One last thing, what would you tell the listeners? Because everybody's got some takeaways, right? I mean, I've got my own takeaways from years of learning and getting battle scars, and I try and tell people to avoid these certain things, right? So you don't get cut up and buried. But what's the one thing that you would tell people who are trying to go remote and do what you're doing? What do they need to know before they get into it?
That's tough. It depends on where they are in the business. If they are still the only employee and they don't have help of any kind and they're doing everything themselves, the first thing I would say is like spending a little bit of money to bring on someone that takes off, even if it seems like simple, like we pay people to do an hour of cleaning a day. That's not that much time out of my day to go in there. I could be doing that and we could be saving to $500 or $800 a month just by spending an hour a day. But that 1 hour is mental bandwidth that can be applied to another task. Mm-hmm. And then if you apply that to everything. So I have my new like 3-pillar, almost like mantra that I'm following. And it's, automate what can be automated, delegate what can be delegated, and streamline anything you have to do. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm following now. And doing that, by hiring my first manager, that was the ultimate game changer for me. So I could step out and be like a true CEO.
Awesome.
Even though we're just a little mom and pop shop.
Yeah. Tom, I know that you're going to do well. How old are you, man?
I'm 31.
Yeah. I mean, you're young and you're already making big strides. There's a lot of people who are in your position right now and they're still trying to figure out what they want to do next. So
yeah,
I think you've hit the jackpot. As long as you can replicate this, you're in a position where you've got your business set up really for repeatability. And the few things that you're doing right now, like tomorrow, you're going through this process of how can you replicate this process and build this back office to take more time off your hands that you're putting somewhere else, right, into the business. Yeah. And yeah. I agree with you. I mean, it's a very similar thing that I do. I think a lot of business owners, once you get into business and you realize the complexity of a lot of different things, you start valuing your time a little differently and you go, yeah, is this the best use of my time right here, right now, cleaning equipment? Is this the best thing that I can be doing for my business? Or can I be doing something else to help grow it or make the members happier or bring in more customers? And it's a good thing that you learn that one early on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say it's really helpful watching these podcasts. I'm not kidding. I have a lot of inspiration because the heavy hitters, and it's an honor because I know the big heavy hitters that you've brought on here and watching them and learning from them and learning from you. That is something that you really cannot take for granted. There's so many small pieces of genius nuggets that are just dropped throughout each video that, I mean, I'm sure you were not instructed that or taught that. It's something you learn by experience through years, in the industry. And same goes for all the other guys that I've watched. And, that I personally, I know you see me commenting. I'm there. I'm watching all of them, because information is real information, which is also, something that's not really available widely on the internet today, is real, honest, like valuable information.
No, I appreciate that, man. I think it's our responsibility as a business owner, especially in this industry. We're in fitness. And I think anybody who's been given the good fortune of maybe even having luck or just being positioned in a certain way to be able to take things and move them forward, whether it's their skill sets or their knowledge or their experiences, they've learned them over time. And we as a human race, we only have so much time on this planet before everything's done. So, you know, the right thing to do in my mind is to share that, you know, carry it forward to somebody else. And, you know, these recordings, you know, they'll live forever. So you've got information, you've got your own learned experiences in your own skill sets and knowledge that you've acquired along the way. And even though there's heavy hitters that come onto this show, they're only heavy hitters because they've had more battle scars along their journey. And so they have a few more, you know, lessons to teach. So I appreciate you coming on, man. It's such an honor to have you here. And, you know, as always, I'll see you guys on the flip side.